Hey guys, welcome back to Play on Footy. Today I want to do a video on if I was an AFL player, which club would I want to be heading to? Or if I was on the trade table, which club would I be wanting to get into to ensure that I have future success as a player and obviously contribute to the club as well. So I've got 18 teams here that you can see. I've ranked it in sort of red, which is stay away. Basically just don't even think about this club. Uncertain, we're not really quite sure what is going on with these clubs. They're in a bit of grey water, grey area, a bit murky water I should say. And then sort of yellow is like on the up, so they're sort of on the cusp of a premiership window sort of thing. But yeah, coming up through the ranks possibly. And green is destination club, so it might be like, you know, a very successful club in the past, one of the wealthiest clubs in the past, great opportunities for commercial sponsorship and all that sort of stuff. So we'll start off with let's start off with Port Adelaide. I want to just mix it up a little bit here. So Port, they got to a prelim. Ken Hinkley's under a little bit of a cloud at the moment in terms of what he's going to do. Apparently he's going to be playing or coaching on, I should say, next year. But there are just a couple of uncertainties there, which I'm just a little bit unsure about, because if Ken Hinkley does leave, then a change of leadership can be a bit disruptive to the playing group. So I'm probably going to go with say uncertain at this point, just because of what can happen when they keep making these prelims and they're not going all the way to grand final. And if Ken leaves, who's going to replace him? Matt, you know, is it one of the Carr brothers? Is it Matthew Carr? I can't remember, but yeah, it's just a little bit too uncertain for my liking. Even though they made a prelim this year, I just don't know if I'd be picking Port Adelaide. Let's try another club, Adelaide Crows. I'm going to put them in uncertain as well. With Nixie in their list, I just don't know whether or not I'd be wanting to go to Adelaide Crows. I don't know what sort of culture they have there and what sort of structure they have there. I wouldn't want to be playing with Tex Walker. I don't really like him. Ever since he made that racial sort of discriminatory comment, I just wouldn't be wanting to be around a bloke like that. To be honest with you. So yeah, I wouldn't be wanting to go to Adelaide Crows, that is for sure. Next team I want to do is Richmond. I'm going to put stay away, yeah, and it's pretty clear to me why. You know, Adam Uze, he's still untried and untested as a coach to a degree, only done 1 year. I wouldn't want to be going to Richmond Tigers, especially now Brendan Gale's left, the CEO. So many changes at that club. It's really in a territory where I really wouldn't be entertaining the thought. Of course, if I was drafted, I don't really have much choice. You know, I just get drafted the club that picks me. But if I did have choice, I would be wanting to stay away from Richmond Tigers, that's for sure. The next club I'm going to be picking is the Hawks. Hawks to me is like a destination club. They're not really on the up anymore. They're a club that well-established players and players that are coming through the ranks of the draft or being traded from another club would want to go to. Sam Mitchell's a great coach. They've got such a great history and heritage, and they look after their people well, from what I can hear. And you know, an Eagles player close to my heart is Tom Barras. He's gone to the Hawks, and I don't blame him, because you know he had Adrian Hickmott, which was the forwards coach at the time, the 2018 grand final. He was on the coaches panel, and Sam Mitchell as well was the midfield coach. So I think the Hawks to me is a destination club that I'd want to be at as well. The next one I'd be picking is St Kilda. I'm saying on the up. I think with Ross Lyon and the way that they can get some good draft picks in, I think they are on the up. But I just don't know going forward how much longer the rebuild is going to be. I mean, last year they got 6th place, and then this year they've fallen down a couple of ranks, but I think that's because they need to bleed some more youth and stuff like that. But I'd be more inclined to go to St Kilda than I would be going to Port Adelaide or Adelaide Crows, to be honest with you, at this stage. And Ross Lyon, you know, he's been around before. He knows what it takes to get a team to a grand final. Obviously hasn't won one yet, but I think he's a great operator, and He knows how to get things done and to get the best out of players and stuff like that. So I think that would be pretty obvious. Melbourne Demons stay away. Yeah, with the whole drug saga with Joel Smith, Simon Goodwin obviously isn't a saint. I would not be wanting to play in a team that has a very poor culture, and Melbourne Demons to me is one of those teams, to be honest with you. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be going there to start my career. I just don't think it would be a very fruitful venture. Yes, they won the 2021 AFL Grand Final, but yeah, apart from that, I don't think I'd want to be there, long term, so to speak. Collingwood Magpies, yeah, that's a destination club, 100%. I don't think it's a bad club by any means. One of the wealthiest clubs in the land. I definitely want to be going there, even though I don't really like Collingwood. Each their own, but I think as a whole, it's a very well-run establishment and organisation. And Craig McRae, love him, I hate him. I think he's a great coach, very stoic man, and he knows how to get the best out of his players as well. North Melbourne, I think North Melbourne are on the up. I definitely think that their list is very youth focused, but I think that's a very good thing as well. They are trying to target some mature age recruits with Jack Darling, potentially Caleb Daniels, Dan Houston could be going to North Melbourne as well. So there could be some massive changes. Luke Parker as well as another one. So once you get a couple of older guys coming through, I think hey, North Melbourne might be jumping up the ranks pretty quick, especially under Clarko, who I think in this coming year he'll be able to give his 100% focus and have more eyes around everything else and see what works and what doesn't work. Yeah, Brisbane Lions is a destination club under Chris Fagan. Again, they are nearing a very older list, which again sort of is reminiscent to, I guess, the mid-2010s onwards to 2016. There was that period where Brisbane was sort of neither here nor there, and that could happen when, a couple of the older players like Neil and a couple of players that did their knees this season, like McCarthy and I can't remember what his other name was, but yeah, a lot of them actually. I think 5 players did their knees, so it'd be interesting to see what they do with their list. But I think under Chris Fagan is a great player manager as well as coach, and yeah, I think even though it's not a footy state, I think the Queensland lifestyle would be pretty amazing. Talking about Queensland lifestyle, I think Gold Coast Suns is a destination club. Now that Dustin Martin's most likely going there, Dimmer Hardwick's there as a coach, I'd be wanting to be playing with Dimmer 100%. I think that they're on the right track. I think they've got a good sort of list, kind of formulating. So I think, Gold Coast Suns would be a destination club for sure. The Blues, I'm probably going to go uncertain there because I'm not really sold yet. I don't really know what else the Blues need to fine tune. I think they're going to this trade period and the draft to try and obviously get more youth in to sort of get rid of the deadwood, which is Jack Martin. His body's let him down a lot, which that does suck for him, I suppose. Matt Owies has been floated as a trade as well as Matt Kennedy and Lewis Young. So yeah, it's a really interesting time at Carlton. I'm not sold. They only just snuck into finals this year by the skin of their teeth. So yeah, I wouldn't be really keen on the Blues, even though they're a powerhouse of a club. Yeah, I just wouldn't be sold. I'm putting Bombers as stay away. I think their culture is still uncertain, and I just don't really know why. Yeah, I just don't really think that the Bombers under Brad Scott really have much real sort of attraction there. Like if I was like a new, like a player that's been in the system for 2 or 3 years and my name's been floating around the trade table and Bombers came to me and said, hey, would like you to play for us, and I had a couple of other options as well, I wouldn't be gravitated towards Essendon, to be honest with you. Nothing this year that they've done has really excited me, and their list, the Adrian Dodoro, he's a terrible list manager, and I just wouldn't want to be a part of that sort of toxic environment. Ever since the SADA happened, I think it's still lingering at the club, and so yeah, I wouldn't be too keen, to be honest, to play for Essendon, to be honest with you. I'm going to put the Eagles as uncertain. Nothing is really set in stone with the Eagles, and even though they've got a new CEO, they're going through some real tough change periods at the moment, which could be exciting for a young player. Obviously, it's the most powerful club, one of the most powerful clubs in the land in terms of money-wise, and to be one club state, which is really the Eagles, Freo really don't impact that much. So yeah, I think there's that draw card, but there's still a lot of stuff to go, well, a lot of water to go under the bridge in terms of, a coach and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to put Eagles as uncertain if I was going to be drafted there or going to play there. I know for a fact that, if Stephen McWalter gets the Eagles job, I can guarantee you Liam Baker and Jack Graham are going to be going to the Eagles, and hey, potentially Shai Bolton, so I wouldn't rule that out either. Geelong are a massive destination club. I think, I think with the House of Land packages that they have there, that they give to their players, I think, a Cats player is looked after for life, and that is just what happens. And ever since 2011, when Chris Scott took over the Cats, he's been so consistent. I've talked about it on the channel before, and put it on the community page on this YouTube channel about, there was like a list of every year Chris Scott has coached the Geelong Cats. They've been fairly, consistent. So if there was a club, apart from the Hawks and possibly the Pies, that I'd want to be going to, or the Suns, it'd be the Cats for sure, 100%. The Giants, I'm putting on the up. Again, really disappointing finals run this year. Adam Kingsley's a great coach, though. I think he's a great master of men and a great motivator. I just think that, they're not quite a destination club because they're so raw and young. And, I guess they've got real no premiership sort of success. They have gone to grand finals before, but I just don't really consider them being a destination club, perhaps because of their location where they're at. But yeah, I wouldn't probably put them as a destination club coming into 2025. Obviously, they are on the up. They could make finals again in 2025. But I just wouldn't put them in the destination bracket just yet. Yeah. Sydney Swans, they're a destination club. A lot of people highly ranked in the AFL world want to work for Sydney. They're a powerful club. They've had a lot of success, just like the Eagles have. But Sydney are in a way better position than the Eagles currently. And they're playing a grand final 2024 this year. So, and who knows, the next year they might be able to as well. But they've got really great list management, just like Geelong, and they really don't have much or very little rebuilds. They know how to structure and forward plan and think big, and they've got great people at the club that do amazing things. So yeah, I think Sydney for mine would be the destination club, the last destination club I'm adding to the list. Western Bulldogs, I'm putting as uncertain. I don't really know what to do there in terms of what much to say. I mean, Luke Beveridge is a bit like Ken Hinkley, really. Don't really know what's going to happen. And if Luke Beveridge, doesn't deliver this coming season, then, he might be looking for another job. And, when that happens, there's a lot of change, and then people come and go. And I don't think I'd want to be in that sort of club. Going forward, and especially with how they've been treating a couple of their players, like Riley Garcia, who hasn't had much of a look in this year. Jack McRae hasn't had much of a look in this year. Rory Lobb had to really push his case, and then they tried him down back, and then he got a bit more of a go. Whether you rate Rory Lobb or not, each their own. I think Western Bulldogs, their way that they treat their players and all that has been a little bit different to what I'm a little bit different to what you'd expect. Caleb Daniels another one, and then obviously Bailey Smith's going to Geelong, so what does that tell you? You know what I mean? So I'd probably be putting Western Bulldogs as uncertain. And then Freo lastly, putting as stay away. I don't really understand the attraction to Freo. I wouldn't be too interested going there. They train at Coburn, which if you look it up on Google, it's not even in Freo. It's not a very nice place in Perth, I can tell you that much, and they've had no premiership success. They don't really have many or well-established players and coaches internally. They've got Nat Fyfe that's won 2 Brownlows, but apart from that, most people that go to Freo are either there just to end their careers, or they're sent there basically to then leave. You know, they're there, they get drafted and they leave after a couple of years. And most people that leave Freo tend to do better when they leave. So what does that tell you about player development and looking after your own players? So there it is, guys. That is the 2025 rundown of what clubs I'd be wanting to go to if I was a player, or if I was being traded, or if I was being drafted into come 2025. These are the clubs that are either destination, on the up, uncertain, or stay away. So hope this helped. Hope this was entertaining. Comment down below, like, subscribe, which ones you guys think would I sort of got wrong or probably could have done better on. But yeah, I always encourage more comments. So cheers, guys.